You had mentioned to me before about Sunnydale, and we don't just find this on the maps or anything like that. Of course, I learned about it from house that we've got sold behind us, but Sunnydale is very important to you.
It's very important to a lot of people who look at things historically or try to understand them. You're in Sunnydale, which is a community, which is in Grant Township, which is in Sedgwick County, which is in the state of Kansas, and just keep extrapolating that to the universe. But this is my place, and my place has come to me as Sunnydale through the progression of people who made it their home before me. Mm-hmm. And it was all predicated on the spring. There is a spring in this area. It's over to the west. Mm-hmm. And that spring drew, first of all, the Native Americans. The Osage and the Pawnee were definitely in this area from our research, and they definitely migrated from here as far east as El Dorado and as far west as probably Bentley, out that direction. So there was the treaty of the 1865 was signed at Seneca and 61st.
Oh, really?
And so this area was very important to their migratory patterns, and the spring, the water that was here, was what drew them back or gave them comfort while they remained here. They had to give way to the Chisholm Trail, and the corridor of the Chisholm Trail is identified from right here to the west is hillside, mm-hmm. all the way over to Meridian. That's okay. Considered the Chisholm Trail corridor, and we all know that it's centered around Jesse Chisholm, but it was the story of the cattle migrations, the cattle driving from the Pecos River, the Brazos River. I have a son that lives in Waco, and the stories of how the cattle started becoming important as the plains were being settled. And then after the Indians, when the Osage and the Pawnee gave way to the cattle drivers gave way to the immigrants. Yep. And with the land rush mentality at the southern border of Kansas going into Oklahoma, this was sort of a secondary effort. And around 1890, there was the hope of a community. The railroads came after the immigrants, so don't forget your progression. And the railroads were picking places to make depots. And so a group of people brought themselves together out here and formed Sunnydale, hoping for the railroad to come through here.
Right.
By 1894, 5, 6, right around there, there were houses, there were churches, there was a post office, there was a general store. There was, interestingly enough, a sawmill and a cooperative milk creamery, just really? Like we have echoed back over here. So that part of it is very interesting, that in what Elderslie has tried to advance at this time were really echoes of things that the people did with the land here to begin with. Man, right. Land, animal, whatever right. you can do to use the resources that are around you. So the Sunnydale community missed the railroad. We lost our post office commission in 1902. Mm-hmm. We were decommissioned as a place in 1902. And as the sign says, in 1906, not to be driven away, the people of the community formed what was called the Sunnydale Community Welfare Society. This was welfare. This is where you came. We have interviews of an older woman. She died last year at 100, but she remembered coming here after a tornado to get a hot meal, and the ladies of the community were ready to receive her. There was food, there was clothing, there was just help in this building. But I think it is so remarkable that the railroad was our hope, but when it didn't materialize, the people went right ahead and built this building. These are poured concrete walls that were poured around 1906, and they went right on as a community. In this building, I love to come into this building, which we got a nice remodel in here about 5 years ago. Right where you're standing was a huge old furnace, which had been a wood stove, and over at this end of the building where the stage and the patrons of Valley Center mostly, but North Wichita. These are all old names of people that came to this place. They ate meals here. They had 4-H clubs here. They had community. There were 9 one-room schoolhouses that used this building as their stage and their point of convocation of coming together for music and cultural activities. So this was a center for gathering together, and I have to take my hat off to the generations, 3 generations, that have kept it intact and viable. And when Philip and I moved into the community around 1983, they were having what was called a second Tuesday supper here in this place. And the first hospitality that was extended to me was my neighbor, Mrs. Kallenbach, who said, "You have to come and meet everybody at the community supper." And still to this day, we have 5 major food events that happen, chili, cake, pie, picnic, and Christmas. And the community gathers in the same way they did, and we find a way to connect with one another and what's going on currently. But this building was given to the community in perpetuity. It can never be sold. It has to be run. It has to work. Yeah. Just like I said about that property over there. Yeah. You can't dismantle this. This is powered by an engine that is existential, if you want to think of it that way. This is the Geist, right. A good German word for the spirit of the place. Right. Elderslie is a wonderful addition to Sunnydale, but it always has to be kept in perspective. Yep. That Sunnydale was waiting for us to come here. I love that part of it. Now, eventually, we have plans. The next generation is coming up and taking an interest. We need to refurbish the stage so we can have cultural events in here again, music and children with their imaginations and classes. So the building itself is being considered. Updates on the building are being considered, but we need to get it on the historic register very quickly. But the really important story, though, is that the next generation is coming into the building and going to make it alive in their own way. What you're looking at here is the blackberry bramble on the long field in the Sunnydale community, right, at Elderslie Farm. But the beauty of these trellises is that they will support the crop as it's growing, and it will allow, because of their photosynthetic nature, phototropic, they will all grow on this side. The berries will grow on this side where
Really?
we're looking right now.
Yeah.
And so when the U-Pick people come, and think 7,000 people in a good year, we can send them through here in much more orderly and efficient capacity. So they get a great pick, and we get the berries picked.
Right.
But it is this trellising that has made the difference.
Do you cut down again in the spring, or do you
There's a lot. What happens, these are all trained. You can see the little green tabs.
Right.
Those are the little training tabs that have brought these canes up, and then as new ones come, there's just weeks and weeks and weeks of training them so that they do their job well, so that they can do their job well.
Yeah, this is pretty impressive.
Here's the pièce de résistance.
Oh.
This is the Daniel.
that's
This is
cute
the
in here.
Daniel Boone cabin. And this is Philip's one concession to Tennessee.
Really?
When our youngest son built this, but when he built it, it was so Philip could come out here in the middle of nowhere and believe that he was back home.
You know what we need then?
What do we need?
You need to go have your Elderslie distillery.
Yeah? Hey, you know Tennessee.
We've got plenty of wheat and corn out here.
You are
Let's do
so
it right.
smart. Yes, this is exactly what we need here.
Oh, that would be so appropriate.
But this is a real fun part of our family life. Is everybody comes here.
Yeah, this is really cool.
It is very cool.
So how long has this building been here?
Since he graduated in 2012, so it's he built it in his senior year. Philip and the youngest one built it.
That is so cool.
I want to thank Becky Elder for taking us around the farm. If you or your family is looking for an awesome eating experience or just want to come out, visit them at the link below or in the description. Please like and subscribe to our channel and Facebook page for more videos like this. And give the Wichita Home Team at Keller Williams a call for all of your real estate needs by calling us at 316-202-0333 or visit us at wichitahometeam.com. Till next time.